welcome to everyone. Today we are going to discussing about another important topic on computer network, which is initial connection protocol. So what is meant by this initial connection protocol? So while establishing this a connection between the two systems, for example, when discussing about two hosts are available that we having as a host 1 as well as we having as a host 2. So here while we establishing this between, we go for is transmission protocol data unit, we are using that one. But while establishing this kind of information, while establishing this kind of transmission protocol data unit, what kind of host 1 connection is there as well as what is the host 2 connection is there. So what is initial connection is required so to develop the protocol, because while discussing about this a transport service primitives, we have that one. So these primitives, while we establishing this one, what kind of connection we are using that one, what kind of information send or receive, or else the discard information, or else disconnect the value. So similarly, while overcome this one, we go for a Barclay connection system. So same way, what kind of initial connection protocol we require that one, that we discuss in this session. So what is initial connection protocol? So when you see this one, host 1, host 2 is there. So here when you see this one, generally every connection is required, every precise connection is required. So we have to listen the value. Server is asked to listen the transport service access point, we calling as a TSAP, we calling as a transport service access point. So we have to listen about the transport service access point. So which means each machine, for example, this acting as one machine, this acting as another machine. So each machine has to, that is wish to transfer, wish to offer a services to remote user, a special process services. This special process server, which may acting as a proxy or a less heavily kind of used services we offer in that one. So here the proxy for the less or heavily kind of user services we offer that one. It listen the services. It is a service point. It is a set of point which calling as a transport service access point, which access and set of ports we have that one. So that at the same time and waiting for the connection request. So here how it happen, based upon the Unix and our TCP system, we access that one. So that we emerge that one, we calling as a services, we calling as initial connection protocol indeed on a Unix system. So here when you see this one, so this acting as a host 1, this acting as a host 2, and between this one we having as a n number of transport service access point is there. So this access point, each and every user access point is connected to the a multiple user of process to process, which means you're calling as a process to process server is there. Here we're calling as the user to access point to when the host to process service layer, we have that one. So but here what are the layer are present over there and how we are able to access the point with the help of this transport protocol data unit mechanism. So that we're calling as an initial protocol. So we'll see this one here, same way in this manner, user manner, here able to connect to the same network architecture is a kind of bus topology kind of structure. So we go for this time of day server. So that kind of access point information which we develop in the initial connections only, we calling as a initial connection protocols. And while we establish the initial control protocols, what is with this connection establishment? So we having as normal operation is there, a duplicate operation is there, which you offering as connection request, offering out of one however, or as a duplicate CR and duplicate acknowledgement. These are the services we are offering the connection establishment. So when you see in the figure A, so here the host 1 is there, host 2 is there. So which means a simple normal operation, which means a connection request is there. Based upon the request, we get the acknowledgement, and based on acknowledgement, we send the information. So that is simple kind of normal operation. But when you get this duplicate CR request, what is CR request? A connection request. For example, this connection request is duplicate because already the connection request is established. They already raise the request. Again, they send the information that we calling as a duplicate of connection request. And same way, duplicate of acknowledgement. So here acknowledgement is received. Again, any kind of duplicate acknowledgement transmitted. So that we calling as a duplicate of CR as well as duplicate of acknowledgement. So here duplicate of connection request is raised and duplicate of data acknowledgement is raised. So it may chances to get the positive acknowledgement or may chances to get the negative acknowledgement. And similarly connection release. So in this connection release mechanism, we have four protocol scenarios to release the connections. One is a normal case, a three-way handshake mechanism, as well as a final acknowledgement last mechanism. So when you see this one, what is three-way handshake mechanism? So one is data request is there, which means send data request plus timer, right? So once data request is received, we are get the data request, which means send the data request and timer value, which means release the connection. So it will get the a positive acknowledgement, send back, which means get the positive acknowledgement, then connection is released. Or else the connection lost. We are get the positive acknowledgement, we get the data request from the source to host 1 to host 2. Similarly, we raise the request, we send the information in the DR and a start timer value to release the connection, because some gap is there. So when you see this one, here there is no gap is there, but here some gap between here, some kind of timer should be happens, then the connection is lost. That we calling as a connection release. After proper successful information received, the connection is released based upon acknowledgement. If acknowledgement is not received some time or some time gap, then also the connection is released. So the next one is the response lost, as well as response lost and a subsequent DR lost. So here what happened, first data request is raised, but this response will get the acknowledgement to host 1. So that kind of information lost. So again we go for the data request, again information release. After successful release connection, then we get the acknowledgement, which means they release the connection. But what happened here, the response lost or subsequent DR lost, here any kind of information, the send DR, the send of small DR value after time gap, after time of the values, that is also release the connection, because it has to wait for shorter delay time. After the delay increases, the timer process should be increases. That is also leads to connection release. Right. So in this session, we are discussing about the important topic, which is connection protocol. So which means how we are able to establish the connection, how we are able to release the connection. So that we discuss in this session. So in the parameter of this session, in the outcome of this session is, while establishment connection, what kind of protocol we are using, that one, and we go for this either maybe a service primitives or the connection establishment things. And similarly, while release the connection, what kind of parameter we are choosing, that one, whether acknowledgement lost or CR lost or CR successfully received or acknowledgement not successfully received, or some kind of time gap is there, time delays increases, time of process happens. So all these things parameter we discuss in this session. Thank you.